The trailer for this movie was just not selling it to me. I mean, just look at this footage. This movie looks absolutely insane. It's like a live action Looney Tune. It's nonsense. It was not convincing me. You could tell just by looking at this movie's trailer that realism has been tossed aside. We are not going for anything resembling realistic here. But not all wacky, unrealistic movies are bad. In fact, sometimes they become huge hit franchises. Think of that movie Kung Fu Hustle. That was complete nonsense, and yet it became really popular. Or look at John Wick. Those movies also total nonsense, yet they are fun and they have grown quite the audience. So is that going to be the case with this movie? Are audiences going to be able to accept this movie for what it is? Is this movie worth a trip to the cinemas? Let's discuss. Fight or Flight stars Josh Hartnett, Charithra Chandran, Katee Sackhoff, Julian Kostov, Huey O'Donnell, and Danny Ashok. It's about a mercenary who is tasked with tracking down a high-value target that happens to be boarding a plane. But it turns out Josh Hartnett's mercenary is not the only one on this plane that is going to be looking for this high-value target, and that's what leads to this movie's over-the-top insanity. I will admit, there are times where I am totally snobby when it comes to movies. There's times where I just want my story to be totally realistic. I want the action to feel grounded. I really can be quite particular. And then there's times where I'm willing to accept logic gaps, plot holes, silliness, if the movie strikes a certain feeling within me. And oddly enough, much to my extreme dismay, this movie actually did that. And again, I am saying this with total surprise to myself because I was expecting all day up until I walked into the cinemas to totally hate this movie. You just never know what's gonna happen with your day, do you? Josh Hartnett is our main character, and he is better in this than I've seen him in quite some time. I'm not counting his small role in Oppenheimer. He did really good in that, but he didn't really have a big role, so I'm not really roping that in with his recent performances. What I'm saying is, in terms of starring roles, this movie is better than some of the recent things I've seen with him. I really loathed last year's movie Trap. It really irked me. It made me very upset with M. Night Shyamalan. It made me pretty disappointed with Josh Hartnett. It had some of the same problems that this movie has, but it wasn't trying to have those be problems. That movie wanted me to take it serious, and bullshit, I was just not. I think it's pretty awesome when you look back at Josh Hartnett's career as a whole. He was a real big heartthrob guy in the late 90s and early 2000s, and a lot of times people that get that kind of notoriety for being ruggedly handsome, they don't really have a long-term effect in Hollywood. They have their moment where they're super popular, everyone wants to cast them in movies, everyone wants to see them in movies, and then their career starts to die down and they just vanish. But Josh Hartnett is not doing that. He is not vanishing. He is sticking around, and he is continuing to prove to me and to everybody that he was worth it. I think this movie has a great mix of over-the-top humor and action, and will have you laughing, grimacing, and cheering, sometimes all within a couple of minutes, sometimes at the exact same time. And I think what makes this movie work so well is that it desperately does not want you to take it serious. It is unapologetically cheesy, campy, over the top, silly, and it just leans into that. The supporting cast in this film is pretty solid as well. Charithra Chandran, I really thought she did a pretty solid job in this movie. She has some really good chemistry with Josh Hartnett, and she proves herself to be every bit as entertaining as him, if you ask me. And actually, the same can be said about some of these other flight attendants in this movie. Huey O'Donnell and Danny Ashok both really add a fun layer of humor to this over-the-top absurdity, and it really worked out quite well. Overall, this movie really surprised me. I expected to hate this movie 100%, and when this movie's credits rolled, I thought to myself, actually probably even before that point, probably around the midway point, I was thinking to myself, this is actually kind of a fun movie. It's really funny, it's got some great action, it is quite gory, by the way. If you are someone that has an issue with blood and guts and bones breaking and all kinds of whatever you can think of, then stay away from this movie because it has lots of that. So if you get bothered by blood, stay away. If you can't stand over-the-top cheesiness, stay away. If you want realism, stay away. But if you can forgive all the intentionally weird, bad stuff that this movie is doing on purpose, then you are going to really find this to be a fun movie. At least that's how I felt. I had a good time watching this movie. It didn't really want me to take it too serious, and I certainly did not take it serious. But I do think this movie is worth a trip to the cinemas. I would give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Now, that's my thoughts on this movie. Did you see this movie yet? If you did see it, please put your thoughts on it in the comments. And if you liked this video, you should let me know that you liked it by hitting the like button. And if you want to hear more things from me, subscribe to this channel. Later.